Wait, Haley's representing Missouri? Always has been. Hello, this is J.E. Realize. And guess what? We have all 56 songs in American Song Contest. And wow, it's a lot to take in. Okay, first I need to talk about how we did in the viewing figures department. I meant to do that with the rest of the video, but I forgot, so I had to record this last bit after everything else was done. Yeah, basically we lost again against ABC, CBS, Fox. The surprising thing is, we only went down to 1.4 million despite the fact that we were competing against the CMT Music Awards. So, maybe we've reached an equilibrium. But an equilibrium at 1.4 million on Monday primetime? That is not the best fate. But let's talk about Show 5. And we're gonna begin by bringing up something weird. You remember the wildcard round I was telling you about? We already got one of our two redemption qualifiers for the semifinal. Ryan Charles from Wyoming with New Boot Goofin'. I am admittedly not surprised. The problem is obvious though. At the point where they made the announcement, we hadn't even heard all 56 songs. Or rather, not through official channels. I mean, I get it. The criteria for selecting a redemption song is it needs to be tracking on streaming services and social media sites and all that sort of stuff. And when I was looking through my TikTok feed, it just won't stop with the New Boot Goofin'. It's like, the only one that came close was Alexa's Wonderland and Anissa's Green Light, but combined, they're like not even 20% of the people playing songs that are from American Song Contest. Well, dang. I'm gonna forgive NBC for this one, simply because Ryan Charles had pulled off and ran over the horizon, never to be seen again. But realistically, this thing could easily backfire the next time they do this. It's as if they're rushing things and cobbling things together. Speaking of which, let's get to the Show 4 qualifiers. We got Washington. Next up is Massachusetts, which, yay. And that was my number one entry of the whole night. Then we got Georgia. A song that I didn't immediately fall in love with, and it wasn't in my top 5, but I totally see the appeal. And finally, a weird one, New Hampshire. The reason I find this weird is because this is the sort of entry I've listened to a lot of times in the Eurovision Song Contest that usually struggles to qualify for the final, and even then struggles to get out of the bottom 6. It's really rudimentary by Eurovision standards. I can't say much more about that. And so many good acts were passed up. Massachusetts was the only entry I had in my top 5 that show. And sure, I've had worse qualifier results, but it just hurts when so many good songs are eliminated. That's the nature of the beast. You have to admit that to yourself. Also, I have another problem with how the Show 4 qualifiers were revealed. It was a lot less energetic than previous installments. You didn't have previous contestants there, although in the case of Stella Cole, it made sense. And there wasn't really any build-up or hardly any music. It was just, yeah, here are your qualifiers. Dang, really? It's like, it didn't really get us invested. It was just, okay. Yeah, NBC, I don't know what you were thinking with that decision. That is kind of dumb. No, that's totally dumb. You're supposed to amp people up for these things, and you didn't even try. You just stopped caring on that aspect. Qualifiers! Everyone cares about qualifiers! And also, you still didn't take my advice on removing the spoilers from the show! Not only do you have this mess about reviewing the jury list as it progresses over the course of the show, but you also have the results of the polls for each state, America in general, the songs I've performed so far, you still had that since episode 2. Just stop, NBC. Just stop it. This is not helping. This is going to influence the votes in ways that I cannot endorse. Remember what I said about Every Day from 2018's Middle of the Festivalen. You need to rethink this entire strategy, okay? Just do the results when the results need to be done and stop spoiling, okay? Just reveal the qualifiers when it's time. As for New Boot Goofin, I'll talk about him later because there's a serious issue I want to discuss, whether you like it or not. But first, let's go to Illinois, and they sent in Justin Jesso with Lifeline. And admittedly, I really like this song. It's more than just I like this song, I really like it. It's, you know, pop jazz. It's not really like jazz or even pop jazz. It's got like jazzy undertones. It's real upbeat. The one thing that concerns me is that I feel like the music and the singing is kind of off sync sometimes. I don't know what that was, and that was by design of the song. It's just weird. But besides that, it got me going, it got me up on my feet, I like it. And then next up is California. And the whole hometown thing will be either a blessing or a curse. I mean, first off, it's kind of funny that California isn't getting an automatic qualification, despite the fact that this is their home state. But then again, the contest is just starting. That would be kind of unfair for the rest of them, even if California has a significant talent pool. Okay, Keys to the Kingdom. And I gotta say, I was nervous about Sweet Taboo and their lack of presence, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. But it's a bop. I will admit up front, it is quite the bop. And honestly, it sounds like the sort of song I would listen to on the radio when playing Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. I know it's weird, but it's that mix of mid-2000s throwback hip-hop sort of stuff. Mid-2000s aesthetic kills me even when I don't quite resonate with the song. As for how I would place the song, hey, guess what? I can't place the song. Since I live in California, I can't vote for it. And back to the whole blessing and curse thing, people are either going to pack the ballot box because we're in California and NBC is going to give a nudge to the juries. I mean, it's not impossible. You might call it conspiracy theory, but I've seen much more ludicrous conspiracy theories play out as fact. Or people will just rile on California for the whole California favoritism and 0 point this thing to oblivion. There really is no center ground here. It's either it gets pushed to the moon or dragged into hell. Okay, next up is Idaho, Andrew Shepard, and Steady Machine. The song name, I didn't see much promise in it, but you know what? It's really nice. He calls it folk music. I see it as some sort of alternative folk, rock, country, spice. It's something I would listen to in some alternative music radios. It's good for what it is. I can't really say more, but you know, my radio will never play this. Not because it wouldn't fit in the radio station lineup, but because American Song Contest songs are third-class citizens. Let's just leave it at that. Next up, straight out of Roswell, well, Albuquerque, but no one's gonna tell, because, yes, Aliens is New Mexico. They really leaned into that whole New Mexico, Roswell, aliens thing, despite the fact that they actually don't have that many alien sightings. They're only 5th per capita. What are you doing? I mean, I know Nevada's going to give you competition, but what are the other 3? I like the beat. It's a nice hip-hop beat. But besides that, it's nothing to write home about. That's all about I can say. And now we follow up with Missouri, which is represented by Haley, and has always been represented by Haley. And if you thought otherwise, it's time for you to go to Room 101. She gave us this song called Better Things, and you know, it kind of sounds like this one pop song I heard in the 90s. You know, I don't know the lyrics, but it's like, you gotta be strong, you gotta be cool, you gotta be a fighter, something like that. It kind of gives me those vibes. But besides that, standard stuff. I mean, I'll play it, but it's just standard, not stand out. Then we get American Samoa. Nice touch of cultural flavor. Real nice, but I think it's kinda sappy for my music tastes. And I know I've seen a lot of people who say that American Samoa has the best entry of the US territories. I'm not fully in accordance with them, even when you discount Northern Mariana Islands. Yes, I went there. Then we go to North Carolina, country song, another country song. Yeah, the American Song Contest is 1,200% more country songs by volume than Eurovision. Get used to it. I mean, I've heard so many country songs that I'm like, okay, I'll just take this one and put it to the side and look at it later. It's gotten to the point where I realize it's going to be something I'm going to have to deal with. More than, you know, the quality of the song. Good song, though. Not exceptional. Then we go to Vermont, and I had the sneaking suspicion that Josh Panda was going to be elevated by the juries. And he sent in the song Roller Coaster. No, I don't think it's a Dolly Style reference. I don't think Josh Panda would have heard of Dolly Style. It's a fine song, but I mean, nothing too special. But, you know, the juries, they'll eat this up, right? Right? Now we move on to Guam, which, no, is not its own country. It has been occupied by colonialists since the Spanish showed up, you know, all that sort of stuff. And we got Jason J with the song Midnight, and I'm appreciating the territorial entries. They obviously have a Pacific or beach vibe, but unlike with Hawaii, Guam, you know, it feels a little more, I'm not going to say authentic because I've used that so many times and people think that I don't know what authentic means. But it's unique. How do I say it? It's this nice blend of Pacific, R&B, slow jam sort of stuff, and hey, it's new stuff for me. Not necessarily the best stuff, but I appreciate it, mostly. Fun fact, the first time I ever heard of Guam was from a Recess episode. You know that one episode where it's nice to keep that sort of continuity. Anyway, back to the contest. Next up we have Michigan, which I got a lot to say. First off, she's underage, so let's move on to Maryland, the last song of the evening. We got Cisco and the song It's Up. And apparently this guy was well known for a thing he did back in the day. I don't know what that thing is. I can't say that I have any idea. But It's Up is a solid club banger. I do have a few gripes with the song in that I don't know what it is. The first chorus is real, like, gets at you, you know, the beats just go down hard. But then the second chorus and the third chorus lean more to a, how you say, R&B, like, slower, cooler sort of thing, which don't think I like too much. But hey, I'm not complaining. This is a very solid song. And to be honest, Show 5 doesn't have a whole lot of smash hits compared with some of the other shows. I mean, Show 4, I was beating myself up over how many songs I had to lose. Show 5, however, I don't have much of a problem picking a few songs that I really like and basically discarding the rest. But, you know, I still gotta make my preferential voting chart. Alright. That being said, who do we have as the jury qualifier? Natalie? No, not Natalie. Ada Leanne. Natalie is the name of the song, Ada Leanne is the artist, and dang did I make the bad choice of not talking about her at all. Okay, fine. She was one of the first artists that I got interested in when they revealed the roster, and I thought she has quite a bit of talent and her songs are really unique. I don't know if they would be my style, but who knows? And then Natalie came out, and my younger sister loves that song. It's her favorite from all the songs we have on the show. And honestly, I have to say, I kind of agree. But that's where I'm just gonna stop. I mean, congratulations, Ada Leanne. I think you're probably already gonna be in my top 5. I don't know if you're gonna be my favorite. None of the jury options are my number 1 favorite, but there's always chance for that to change. And I've been thinking of how to do my top 56 or top 55. I could leave out California because there's always bias. I mean, California's a good song. I don't know if I'll place it in my top 10, but it has a shot in at least the top 20. Okay, let's move on to the final topic of the evening, and that is the redemption round. It's very simple. The NBC has this process where the 36 songs that didn't get to advance to the semifinals through their own shows have another chance to advance to the semifinals, and it's based on how their songs track on streaming services and social media. It's kind of vague, but what we got so far is New Boot Goofin' got it in the bag, and we were basically right. That only leaves one entry. An entry I have really no idea what it could be, and no idea how they would reveal it, but let's get back to that later. I'm admittedly kind of worried, though, that the redemption round is going to lead to some peculiar effects on American Song Contest. You see, back in Eurovision 1958, there was this song called Giorgio, and it liked to lean on catchy lyrics that anyone could understand even if they don't speak French or Italian, and, you know, a catchy rhythm and all that sort of stuff. And slowly, that sort of thinking of having those songs that relied on, you know, just a song that's catchy would proliferate through the contest. And then it got even worse when the public had 100% voting and it was just all over the place. That is the sort of Eurovision that a lot of fans associate with. It's this whole go all in, go crazy, go kooking, song be damned. Not the worst approach, but it doesn't put the quality of the songs first, if you know what I mean. New Boot Goofing may just take us down this same route. Think about it. New Boot Goofing qualifies for the semifinal, and a lot of people who watch the show and want to enter the next American Song Contest figure, oh, we'll just make a super catchy song and get in through the redemption round. So you get all these super catchy songs, but not immediately. NBC first has to screen them, but eventually some will get through. And this is a sort of attrition that'll happen on the contest over the next few years, if not decades, depending on whether or not the show gets renewed for future seasons. And NBC is going to see that a lot of people like these songs because they're streaming like crazy and trending like crazy, and they're going to say, hey, people love this song, so why don't we just select more of these types of songs so we can get more attention, exposure, that sort of stuff. That's admittedly a pessimistic view of everything, and not everyone will agree with my take. I understand that. But you know how patterns work. You know how, I don't want to use the terms natural selection or social Darwinism or anything like that, but it's similar to that, where you have songs that are successful because the public keeps streaming them, and that's the unofficial priority. But then again, it may not all be that bad. Maybe this is what's needed to make the American Song Contest actually watchable. Or maybe it has more to do with explaining the format and adjusting how the show runs. That's NBC's fault. I'll probably get into that in another video. But I guess if you want American Eurovision, I think the redemption round is what you're going to cheer for. I am so mixed on this. It's like I love the song contest idea, but not necessarily everything about it. But you know what they say, take the bad with the good. Yeah, that was a hot take. But you know what? We still got 3 more shows. The semifinals start next week. And we will also know the final 3 qualifiers for week 5, and also who gets that coveted second redemption slot. And then we're going to have 22 songs in the semifinal. I'm still going to hang on to this because I love the song contest concept, and there's still a lot of good songs, just not necessarily my favorite songs, except for Texas and Massachusetts. You know the Simpsons meme? It's like, Texas or Massachusetts. Do the feedback thing, like, comment, subscribe, or dislike, because I haven't brought up that dead name that was supposed to represent Missouri before the change. I am not in favor of talking about that because I still don't know anything. But feel free to fire your shots. Follow me on Twitter at JERealize. This has been JERealize. I'll see you next time, and we'll see how California does, because you know how it is.